All right. So, welcome, Shawn. I'm very glad to have you here on this podcast on Smartspreadsheets today. And for those who don't know, Shawn is the founder of Aahsheets.com. It is a platform built on Google Sheets and it utilizes AI and it generates high quality SEO optimized content at scale. So, Shawn, let me just give a quick introduction of you and then we would begin with the podcast. So, for those who don't know, Shawn has an impressive background, having worked as a developer at major companies like IBM and AT&T before realizing the power of combining AI and SEO for content creation and search engine optimization. After 2.5 years of honing this technology, Shawn has created a system that can churn out over 5,000 AI generated articles per day at a fraction of cost of other solutions. So today we will pick Sean's brain about his journey, how our sheets works, and we would get his insights on AI, SEO, and future of content creation. So before we start, I just want to let our listeners know that Sean is offering an exclusive promo for Smart Sheets Spread listeners, and you can check out our sheets and start leveraging its AI content creation by changing and clicking the link in the description. So let's just jump on a wide range conversation with Sean. All right, Sean. So how are you doing?
Good, good. Thank you for having me today. Well, it's evening for me. But anyways, I really appreciate you having me on.
All right, Sean. So I hope you're doing good. We'll just start with the questions and then we will just move on with the conversation if that is fine for you.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
All right. So before starting anything, let's start with how you started it. So, like, can you tell us the story behind starting Aahsheets.com and your journey of getting into AI and SEO? Like, this is very new, right? So, how did you start about it and how did you get the idea and everything?
Yeah, well, interesting interesting story. So like you mentioned early on, I have a technical background as a developer and a manager. I used to work at an e-commerce agency as a tech lead. So that usually means that I worked with the program managers, the floor staff, and I worked with the developers, and I worked on integrations, right? And I was like an integration specialist from IBM all the way through working for these agencies and these e-commerce companies, which I worked at. We had like 80 clients at these e-commerce agencies, so it was a lot of Magento 2 websites that we helped manage, and it was great. It was a good experience. I did that for about 3 years, but it was very stressful because I was the person fixing all the stuff that was breaking and working pretty long hours. So I decided I was going to find something a little bit easier. And I took some time off and ended up starting to work for an engineering company who they had one website. And that meant Shawn could run one website and focus all of my energy and all my attention to one thing and do really good at it. So they were looking for a marketing person, but they got someone with a lot of technical knowledge as well. So I happen to be able to do marketing, but I love coding and integrations. I love creative thinking where I can put things together that maybe people don't think about. That's sort of what I specialize in. I help teams go faster, right? I figure out why is this team struggling, and I build a tool for the entire team, and I get them to go faster. So fast forward, I've started working for this company, and I helped them grow with ads. I'm like, okay, we've done ads. Now I know we need to do SEO. So what do we do? So I started joining different training groups, like meetup groups. And right as I was learning all of that, I discovered Surfer SEO. And then at the same time, Jasper had launched. They were under a different name. I think this was before they were even Jarvis, and there was some other name before that. So I was like, okay, AI. I started learning about what Kyle Roof was teaching about using lorem ipsum to try to rank websites. So those aren't even real words, and he was able to rank with lorem ipsum. And I was like, okay, well, AI is just words. I know what to put on a page in the pattern that's needed. So it doesn't matter what the tool is. Then I decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and use Surfer SEO. I'm going to use this new company that's got this AI. I knew they were using OpenAI, by the way. I figured that out early on. This was early in 2021. But once I started to test, I did 16 articles and I tested with the things I had learned, how to put the words in the right place. I used AI to just generate everything. Once I did that, I tested 16 articles. I had one article go out in 2 hours, hit the page one, and then it started converting sales within hours. I was like, whoa, that's wild. With those 16 articles, we had $10,000 of sales coming in probably in about 30 days. So I let that run for about 6 months and it did really well. Google didn't do anything. Google didn't freak out. Everyone was warning me, don't do it, don't do it. So I did a small test, let it go for 6 months. And after that test was done, I saw really good results. We were bringing in money. I knew that I needed to keep going. So that's kind of how I got started. You know, my love for building things that people don't think about. And then also just jumping into this tech, even though everyone warned me not to do it online. All these big SEO groups said, don't do it. So I was like, I don't know if Google, you know, it takes a lot of energy to try to figure out if an article is AI or not. And at this point, Google allows it because they can't keep up with it. So anyways, that's how I got started.
All right. So like you started it as a hobby and it was your creativity and your interest in technical stuff that allowed you to do it, right? So like it was more of a interest passion for you.
Yeah, no, this was for my new job when I started. I actually started as a marketing director for an engineering company. They had an e-commerce store, right? So we sell automotive parts through this website. So I came in and I'm an expert in launching new websites and helping e-commerce grow and make money. That's my experience right now. Like that's what I specialize in. So I help them grow. And then with the SEO, because I worked at the agency, we did a lot of SEO services and optimizing e-commerce environments specifically for SEO. So, you know, further back, how I got involved with SEO was with my father. My father and I started a blog together back in 2005. I was back in school learning to do development. I went to school for computer information systems. So I started working on code and developing, and I started installing WordPress back then. My dad was a business developer. He worked for the Small Business Development Center of Texas Tech. My grandfather actually founded the SBDC. So they help people throughout all of Texas improve their businesses and come up with plans, right? So we started creating a blog together. It was all about business. And I learned about SEO back in 2005. And we probably had 250,000 visitors a month coming from this business website that we had developed. But, you know, that's how I got started with the SEO. But then the AI came around, and with all the things I had learned, I just knew I could put them together, and I could actually help out the company I work for now increase their sales on this e-commerce site. So the AI it really just helps me create the content and create the the right signals and helps me go faster. So it's really was more about a career and my job that helped to accelerate me more than anything with AI. If it wasn't for this job, I don't know if I would have pushed myself like I've done the last 3 years. And at this company I'm at, I have a team. We have virtual assistants. I call them VAs these days, just someone that lives overseas and helps me out. And she's wonderful. Her name's Christine, and English is not her primary, her mother tongue, right? Like she's from the Philippines. So the AI was great because she could write articles in pretty okay English, and it worked out really well for us. So I would say that because of my position at this job, that allowed me to go, and just my intuition and my background with development allowed me to test AI and then start developing my own tools is what happened.
All right, got it. You have such a nice story coming back from so many years. It was just 2005 when I was born, so like I can see how much experience you have.
Yeah, I've
All
been
right,
around.
so
I started on computers. I started writing in Notepad HTML. I started when I was in high school, and that was in 1995. I was writing HTML code in Notepad and making my own websites when I was like 15, just for fun.
All right, got it. So basically, I just wanted to ask you, like, how exactly does our sheets utilize AI to generate high quality SEO optimized content? Like, if you could explain it in some easier terms so that everyone could get an idea about it.
Yeah, certainly. So Google Sheet is an interesting tool that Google created. Uh, Basically, it's a spreadsheet, and behind it is a web server. It's a cloud server. So when you start up the spreadsheet and you connect it to your Gmail account, you have a whole server behind it that hosts your spreadsheet, right? It's connected to your Gmail account. So everyone on earth, as you create a Gmail and you go and you create a new spreadsheet, that's connected to your own little tiny piece of a server. And that means that spreadsheet's running and it has some computer power behind it. And so what we can do very simply is we can connect to different things, right? Like they call it API, Application Programmer Interface, API. And it's a key that allows us to put it into a server and connect to another server, right? So really cool. Google Sheets allows us to put the key in the spreadsheet, and it allows us to send information back and forth to different things, right? Like you can connect to Shopify, you can connect to WordPress, like through these keys. And it so happens OpenAI, the way they allow access to their AI this whole time has been with a key. And so I just said, well, let's just put the key into Google Sheet. And that means that every single cell throughout the whole spreadsheet could be a prompt, right? So whatever you type in there, you can send it and then it'll get a response back and it will go back to that little prompt. So we can put prompts throughout every single cell. And so if you have a process, right? If I know, okay, I need to start here and I need to say, okay, I want this keyword and I want you to bring me back some related words that need to be in the page to be SEO optimized. We can just go step by step, one cell at a time, and slowly work our way through till we have all the information we need. It's no different than if you go into ChatGPT and you have a back and forth conversation, right? So if I go to ChatGPT and I log in, I can say, hey, for the word let's say for the word porch, right? Or how your house might have a porch or a deck. You can say, give me like all of the words I would need in an article to be SEO optimized. Just give me a list of all those words that need to be in the article for the word porch. And it will give you that list, right? And then you can say, okay, based upon this list, give me a list of headers, right? And so now I have the headers, I've got the keywords, and then I keep moving down the chat and I slowly build my article. We do the same thing in the spreadsheet, right? We just do column 1, then to our A, B, C, D, and we work our way just like we are in the chat. But the cool thing is, because every cell can be a prompt, that means that as we move from left to right, we can do 20 or 30 or 40 conversations all at the same time. So instead of one person in ChatGPT typing, Google Sheets allows us to have 25 people having this same exact conversation all at the same time. So hopefully you can
Yeah,
get
yeah, it
the idea.
makes a lot of sense now. Yeah.
Yeah. So
All
every
right.
cell you can type in a prompt, right? You send it to OpenAI, it comes back. You're just having a conversation through the spreadsheet.
All right. So, like, see, almost everyone has a website these days, and it is like essential for a business to have a website. But people often just get a website, they don't really know a lot about SEO, what it is, how it works. So, like, can you give a brief explanation about SEO as well and how AI generated articles can help in that too for like all the businesses and people?
Yeah, certainly. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. And that's a tricky one for some people think SEO might mean running advertisements, right? Like you see little ads that appear in Google. So, search engine optimization is about search engines. So that's like Google, yahoo.com. You can go back and you can find even older ones. DuckDuckGo is a type, different type of search engine. So there's all these tools that basically connect all the documents in the world, right? So it's, you may not see it nowadays, but what we're using, the technology we're using is called WWW, or World Wide Web. That's the technology called World Wide Web. And so World Wide Web is just a whole bunch of documents. So your website, all it is like hundreds of little documents on a server. So all we're doing with the search engine is we're connecting all the documents on Earth. And what the search engines do is they give all the documents a little score, right? This one is better than this one. And this document likes this other document. And because it likes this other document and it points to it through linking, right? We're going to say, okay, that one gets extra points. So that document that's got all the links pointing to it, that's like a bunch of thumbs up, right? We're going to let that one, through popularity, because it's really popular, we're going to let that one be found easier, right? So it's basically, how do we take all the documents in the world and let you find them? And we do it through kind of a voting system, right? Through linking. And then there's a whole bunch of other complex things, but quite simply, that's it. We got the World Wide Web, which is the technology. It's all these documents. And then the search engines are helping us just connect all that together. And so the way that we connect a document is through the words on that particular document. And Google, they have a very advanced AI system that tries to understand what's on that page. And then it has different servers that will categorize it in different ways. And it starts to kind of put your website with similar websites. So when you go to Google and you are trying to find that porch, you're going to find a lot of articles or links to articles or links to websites that are all very similar, right? Because Google thinks, okay, if someone's looking for the word porch, they probably want to find a porch. And so we want to make sure that when we are optimizing our content, we're putting in the right things on the page. And we've learned what needs to go on the pages through testing, right? Over the last 20 years, all these, humans have spent time testing and tinkering and learning, and we all talk and we all, teach each other how to do it. So we know that you need to have an H1, which is a header HTML tag. We know you need to have an H2, and we know you need to have certain words in those header and H2 tags. We know you need certain words within the text for Google to even understand. Because remember, it's a machine that's trying to understand, right? It's not a person. So this machine has to figure out through the words you use and kind of build everything. So it's all, we're able to find it through search, right? And so Google has all these patents and all this technology to help you. No one really knows. I don't even think Google really knows how their own search works. It's so advanced and the AI is doing so many things. But, in a nutshell, or just kind of to keep it simple, just remember that there's a whole bunch of documents out there. Google's trying to connect it all and give you what you're searching for. And you can do optimizations through linking. Like we got to link them all together through hyperlinks, and then through words that we put on the pages. And that's pretty simply, that's really what SEO is you're optimizing and helping Google figure that out. And then one big thing you can do to help Google is sign up for Google Search Console and give them your website. And what they'll do is they'll take your website and they'll take all your content and they'll help them start learning. And then you actually can get a tool to see your traffic and see how you're doing through graphs. And that helps you further optimize your content and actually tell you what pages visitors are coming through. It'll tell you that the words people are looking for on your website, and you can go to your own pages and improve everything for Google. So there are tools that Google gives you to help you do all those things I just talked about.
All right, so it's like just having a website is not enough today. You need to optimize it for SEO as well so that people can actually find it when they search for it, right?
Yeah, and it's helpful to join Facebook groups or forums and just talk with people that are spending time that are learning this stuff. Rub some elbows, get to know, make some friends, and then learn from them. And there's courses you can jump into, and also here's the big thing: the number one thing you can do is if you want to learn SEO, the number one thing you can do is just start. Like take a website, get a domain name, install it, and just start trying. And I used to install WordPress and then I would delete it and then take it all down. I would install it, delete it, and take it down. I just did it over and over and over until I could just install it in 5 minutes. It was no big deal. And then I would start learning how to put it in Google. But I just did like the basics over and over again. And it was pretty easy after that. So once you're comfortable with installing, deleting, and moving your own website around, then you can start just tinkering and trying to get your rankings up.
All right, got it. So, like how you told us that when you started this and you tried this on your website and all, you generated over $10,000 in like a month or 3 months, right? So, can you explain some more testimonials or some stories that people have got using our sheets and how it has helped them?
Yeah, it's been really great experience. I've got, we ended up, I spent probably about 2.5 going on 3 years now with AI and these SEO tools. And then I started building my own with my own VA team. And so I decided in June, actually for my late father, right? I told you about, we started that website together. Well, he passed away in 2012. And so in his honor, I launched this company on June 6th, which is his birthday. And so I had some friends who owned an agency. I had some good friends that I've been helping out with in different Facebook groups. And, they gave me their first dollar, right? They were my first customer. And so there was about 10 of us. And, it wasn't quite as refined it is in now. Like the sheet is way more advanced compared to even June 6th. It's come a long ways very, very quickly. And we have slowly added more and more people. And I think people are surprised at the content they can put out is high quality. They're excited about that. The scoring is coming out with Neuron Writer scores of like 60 to 70 out of the box. Like it's just pure AI. It's giving you a high score, how I've engineered it. Surfer SEO, we've had scores out of 70 coming out of that, like pure AI. And the cool thing is Surfer SEO and Neuron Writer, people are taking the terms, the little words, that I told you about, because you got to get those words and you got to sprinkle them into the header and into the body. So there's a place in my sheet to copy and paste those words, and it will weave naturally all those words into the right place, and you end up getting like these 80 to 90 scores like within a minute, an article. And so people are excited about that, and they're putting it onto their servers. And we have an affiliate, his name's Nathan, and he was excited. He came in the group, he's like, I just made an affiliate sale from some of the AI articles. And he had just started a website, I think about a month or so ago. And then there's agencies. I'm getting a little, everyone's still pretty new to learning the tool. But some of the earlier folks that are coming on, we are seeing them getting some traffic, and they're still learning how to do SEO. So here's the one thing I will say about AI in general is no matter what tool you use, even mine, you still need to have the SEO knowledge to go and optimize and adjust things and look at your Google Search Console. It's about what we just talked about, spending time understanding, looking at the data, and then optimizing. So a lot of the people that have come to Aahsheet, I think they've done a great job. Some people are ranking. Some people have gotten a sales from affiliate offers. Some people are using it for e-commerce, and they're starting to rank their pages now. And I think some of them need to invest into an SEO person to go through and just optimize, do some internal linking, get things, like we talk about the World Wide Web and all those links. Like someone's got to go in and do a little bit more link. My tool actually helps with linking automatically, but someone needs to go in and optimize it, and I think they'll do even better. So even the tool, just straight how it is, people are seeing success. I have some people making affiliate sales. We got e-commerce. We have agencies that use the tool for their clients. Not everyone shares with me everything that's going on, but there are definitely some good successes coming from the group, which is pretty exciting.
All right, got it. So like you can not just solely rely on it, but if you have some SEO knowledge so that you can optimize it, you can get even better results, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's already giving you good results, but you can go even better, right? There's all these like Neuron Writer is a great tool. Surfer SEO, another really great tool. They're scanning Google itself and looking at what's needed. And my tool, you can use all those words to highly optimize AI content, as good as what some of the AI content they're actually generating. And I do have a scraping sheet. So there's we have a scraper, and it will go out for you and look at Google. So I have a suite of Google Sheets. One of the sheets I have, you can add in a scraping tool, and it will go out for you, look at Google. It'll grab the results off of Google, and it will start to build articles using the information from Google and your competitors' websites. And so we're starting to automate doing research within Google, which is what you would do as an SEO person. So that's really cool, that we're able to do some of that stuff. And so the good news is a lot of people that don't know SEO, this is helping you to understand how to do SEO. So even if you didn't use an AI tool, you can see step by step what's happening, and you could learn from that and start to understand SEO yourself and be able to just do things by hand if you had to manually. You don't need the AI, but the AI just speeds you through that process, and you can adjust words as my tool's building, and you come out with really good articles that are ready for you to adjust, or just go straight to your website and start testing and see what Google thinks of it.
All right. Well, I'm really amazed by your story. So, like, although AI is still very new, right? For all of us people, it is still very new, and like it took you around 2.5 years to get ready with your Aahsheets. So, like, I would like to ask you some challenges that you faced while you were developing it.
Yeah. AI is, some people use the word black box. Have you ever heard that term before?
Mhm.
So black box is kind of like Google, right? The Google search engine. Like we have no idea how it works. You type something in, it searches and finds stuff for you. And we think we understand how to optimize for SEO, but there's all sorts of things going on in Google search that it's just a black box. Like it's like if you look out in outer space, it's a black hole. You have no idea what's going on in outer space, right? It could be anything. So AI, all we do is we ask it a question, and it's hard to know how it's going to respond, and it can respond differently every time. And then on top of that, it could just have problems. Like the one big challenge, or two big challenges. Challenge number one: OpenAI was so popular that the whole world tried to jump on in 2 days, and
Mhm.
they had server issues. They made it really difficult to use it. We could only ask so many questions a day. It just became hard to actually use the system. They'd only give you a little bit at a time. The second problem is the AI doesn't always respond in a good way. It can come back in broken sentences. It can say things that don't make any sense. And you need to have a way to actually have AI check itself, say, hey, does this response make any sense? And it can say, no, that doesn't make any sense. And then your code has to say, okay, do something with it if it doesn't make any sense. So my code does a whole bunch of conversations back and forth automatically for you. There's actually over 40 different cleanup rules that go back and forth and clean the conversation, which is a lot of cleanup. that I have to add code and automate all that. And then I think there's, like I said, there's about 40 to 50 API back and forth conversations to have the article get wrote. And then every time it returns, I have over 40 rules. So every section has to have a conversation, and every section needs all those rules. So if you have a 12 section article, each section is getting cleaned 40 times. So 40 times 12, that's how much cleaning I have to do to get a really nice article. Otherwise, you just never know. The AI has been very finicky because it's a black box. You can ask it something, and then hopefully you get something back that you think should read okay, but you don't always. So those are two big challenges I had, is availability and always having good quality coming back.
All right. So, like what I have understood, that the tools behind our sheets, like some of the biggest tools are Google Sheets and App Scripts, right? So, like for all the small business owners who are not so much into technical stuff, how can they leverage the power of Google Sheets and App Scripts for their business and websites and all that?
Yeah, so right now, not a lot of people may be aware. Like, so today I had someone reach out to me on Facebook through Aahsheet's Messenger, just someone that bought the sheet, and they're like, "Hey, Shawn, I showed my friends who have an e-commerce website, but they're all e-commerce people. They have clients, and their mouths dropped open. They're like, they were just shocked at what you could do. They didn't even know you could do this with a Google Sheet. Like everyone just thinks a Google Sheets just to put your numbers in for accounting. They had no idea that you could actually put code in a Google Sheet. And so app scripts is where you can put code, which is the language is called JavaScript. And not that you need to know how to code and you need to know how to do that. You can find people to help you code, but there's automations that you can build to do different tasks. Interestingly enough, if you want to learn to code app scripts, the easiest thing you can do is get an account with ChatGPT with OpenAI and just ask it, create me a function for app scripts that does whatever you want to do, and it will give you the code. And then you can bring that into the Google Sheet and start learning how to code if you wanted to, or hire a developer. There's lots of people on Upwork and different websites that will generate things for you, right? So the other way that you can use app scripts, if you're not a technical person, is you can simply go buy pre-built apps like plugins. So Google has a store, like a plugin, they call them add-ons, and you can go to the Google store and buy different things that plug in. There's actually OpenAI ChatGPT plugins that already exist where you can have conversations through the Google Sheet already with AI. What I've done is built out what we call flows. A flow is a series of steps all connected, moving the data across the spreadsheet. So mine's just more advanced, where I've actually created and engineered a flow, right? So what's really neat about what I built is there's a little menu that pops open, and I've labeled it step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So you just start clicking step 1, click 2, 3, and 4. So as you click down the menu, the sheet just automatically starts doing everything. So to get started, you just put one word, porch, put your porch or your deck of your house in column A, and then you just start pushing the menu, and you can build 100 articles just through you just literally put one word, and you can do 100 articles just by clicking through this menu. And that's all a part of app scripts. So again, if you don't know, if you're not a technical person, you can go buy an app, you can buy Aahsheets, or you can use ChatGPT and ask it questions and ask it to help you start to code, and you can learn for yourself. And I would recommend using YouTube if you want to learn to write code in Google Sheets. But other than that, if you don't want to get into all that, I would just purchase an app and join the community. Like, we have a community, and you can get a lot of support and help from me and the other folks there through just buying and purchasing Google Sheet apps.
All right, got it. So, like, it is very useful for SEO individuals, but what do you think other than that, who can benefit the most from using our sheets? Like the businesses, what kind of businesses can benefit the most from it?
Yeah. So, again, remember we started out saying that the Google Sheet is connected to this through a key to this AI. And that means every cell can have a conversation with the AI. So what's really interesting is Aahsheets is more than just SEO. We have functions where you can do equal sign AI, and then in parenthesis, you can put whatever prompt you want, or you can feed cells into it. So what that means is if let's say you've got a column of products from a website and you want to update the descriptions of the product in the spreadsheet, you could have a prompt that says, please review this description and optimize it for SEO, just as a basic example. And so, and then you just drag that equal sign AI, and you drag it down the sheet, and it will start auto building all of your product descriptions for you for your e-commerce store. And then you can bring that into your Shopify store or Magento or what do you have. So you can actually use it to really crank up optimizing just content in general. You could actually ask the AI to give me some conversion rate optimization ideas. So what are some CRO ideas for this page? You can copy and paste the entire page into the sheet and do in bulk. It'll analyze all these different pages. It'll tell you how to improve those particular words to maybe improve your sales. So it's not even just SEO. And so you can actually with the AI say, hey, I need a function for a spreadsheet or a Google Sheet that will take this column of numbers and it will combine it and multiply it with this. And I want, a graph, and the AI will return the prompts you need, the functions you need. You can actually start building functions and building out a Google Sheet rapidly because you have AI inside of the Google Sheet. So I have flows, but then I also just give you access to build your own templates and do all of your own things within the Google Sheet. So very powerful.
All right, got it. Although, like you have covered it, that it goes through 40 checks before giving the final piece of content. But like, if you could go in a little more detail about, like, see, if I go to ChatGPT and I ask it to make a piece of content for me, it is not going to be the same as our sheets is going to give me, right? There is going to be a lot of difference. So, like, I want to know how do you make sure that the content that our sheets create, it is high quality AI generated SEO ready content and not just some AI gibberish that I could generate from Chat GPT?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We had a lot of problems early on where you would say, give me, so ChatGPT is not good at word count. If you ask for 100 words, it'll probably give you 500. If you ask for 1,000 words, it may only give you 500. So if you want a 2,000 or 20, a lot of articles we want to be around 2,000 words to 2,500 words. And OpenAI tends to want to give you about 1,200 to 1,500. So you end up not being able to get a complete article. Not even, we're not even talking about the optimization. I can't even get enough words in one particular. So, we had the same problems back in 2021 when we were using Jasper, we would have to push a button over and over and over again. And, your hands would start to hurt because you're pushing this button, generating 2 sentences at a time. And if you do 30 or 50 articles in a day, you can imagine just pushing this button over and over again, trying to generate. And we'd have to copy and paste these words from Surfer. So, I mean, it's just your hands would just hurt from trying to do that. And so when ChatGPT came out a little bit better, you could actually take the words, put it into ChatGPT, and then you'd have to have a conversation with it to try to guide it. And what we end up having to do is you have to ask ChatGPT for an outline, and then you have to ask it to create one section at a time, even in ChatGPT. So it means creating 10 articles probably is about an hour's worth of work, is what we're finding. And, it does an okay job with the SEO optimization, but sometimes it can use words too much. Sometimes it doesn't put the words in the right place. Remember, we talked about you have to have words in the headers and you have to have them in certain places to get it to be recognized by Google as, a document that's related to all these other ones. And so the ChatGPT doesn't always get that right. And so what my tool does is, because I know all of that and I have that knowledge, what my sheet does is you can build is every row is an article, but there are headers that are created in the row, and you can add as many headers as you want. You can add anywhere from 12 up to 40. And what my sheet does is it builds one section at a time, and it takes words that you need and it helps to slowly weave them in. So if you have a big list of words, it's going to take the very top words and weave it into the top of the article. And then it's going to take the next section and weave those in. So it basically is going to take that list from top to bottom and it moves it over and it weaves it from top to bottom. So we know we have the right amount of words throughout the article. And the words usually at the top of the list are the most important. You want those at the top of the article anyways. So mine is just strategically going through and generating one section at a time and building your SEO content, but then quality, right? How do you get good quality for an article? So here's a really cool thing that we've figured out in the last 30 days. We can, in bulk, we have a little tag we use and you can put it at every single header. And in that tag, you can write whatever you want. And that gives you context and it helps the AI understand what each section should be about. For example, if you want to write about, if you wanted to write about the porch we talked about, right, for your deck or your house, maybe you want to focus in on a very particular piece of wood, right? You only want it to focus on, cedar wood, right? How would the AI know that you want to focus the article on cedar wood for a porch? So you have to put it in this tag and say, focus on cedar wood and explain the benefits. That simple thing, that entire section will now turn into a very focused section on cedar wood and use the words that I have to optimize that section. And so we're automating a lot of that for you, but you have the ability to give everything hyper focus. And then the code that I've wrote is pretty advanced. The code will actually take that context and it will create its own outline. The AI will say, I'm going to write about this. And then it will say, okay, the AI will respond with what it's going to write with. Then it'll pass it back to AI and it'll see what it should write about with your context. Then it goes through a series of steps of creating a polished piece of section because it's having a conversation back and forth with itself. What I don't do is I don't want to ask ChatGPT one thing and get one response back and put it in the sheet. That's going to be terrible. You want to have a conversation like, hey, this section is about this. What should be in here? Provide me a list of things that you need to be in this section. So it tells me in this section, you need to have this. I go, great. Give me an article section with those, with what you're saying needs to be in there. So there's a little bit of an automated conversation that happens. And that way you get the AI to, think through what it's trying to write about. And you end up getting a higher quality section than you say, hey, write me a paragraph about a porch. And then it's just going to make up something that may have nothing to do with what you want. So that's where we are intelligently trying to optimize and get the AI to really think through, just like you would as a human. You're having these conversations in your head. We need to do the same thing with the AI. So that's where we probably are a lot different than a lot of tools. When I look at a lot of the AI tools, you can tell they're just having, write me a section, give me the section back, and then they're throwing it into the article for you. And it can just be complete garbage. Or very repetitive. Sometimes you get the same thing being said over and over, which is terrible. So with how we're doing it, you're not going to have that problem. And we've really figured that out. Even in the last 30 days, we've done a really good job with my group. We're all testing and kind of figuring that stuff out. So really cool stuff actually happening.
Yeah, very understandable, because even I myself sometimes try to make content using ChatGPT, and it
Yeah.
just keeps throwing the same thing. I just keeps telling it, do it, do it, do it, and it just is not ready to listen. So
Yeah, but one
what
thing you
you're
can do is
telling.
you can just say, here's the things that need to be in this section. What are, give me a list of things that you think should be in here. So when it gives you back that list, then you can kind of have a conversation to then write that article, but get it to give you some of that information, like the outline. Ask for an outline, ask for what should be in there, ask for the context. Then when it starts to write, it'll have a much easier time. There is one other thing with language models that not a lot of people may know about. And there's this thing called no shot, one shot, and few shots. Have you heard of that term?
Mhm.
So it's if you go look at anyone developing these language models, it's very common. So it's those are giving examples, right? So no shot means you give no example. You're saying just write me an article about a porch, and so it just like tries its best to write you. So a one shot means you say write me an article about a porch, and then here's an example of what I want it to look like when it comes out. So you actually provided maybe a few sentences of what you want it to look like. And then it does a better job as using that as an example. And then you also have what's called few shots, which basically means you're giving many examples, right? You could do like the same thing for, if you wanted to have a pattern of numbers, like I want you to create a list and organized in this way. You can give it, say, hey, I want you to give me a list. Here's an example of how I want it to be structured. And then you would give a list structured in a certain way. And then the AI can go through and mimic that example. So that's really key. You want to give, you want to try no shot, see what the AI can even do. But if no shot fails, then try one shot, and then try few shots. So that's something that's really, really important to try to use when you're developing with AI in general. Is you want to think about providing examples, and I do that in my code quite often. If you go look at my code, and by the way, if you buy my sheet, you can actually see all my code. There's 10,000 lines. You get access to all of it, and you can start to read through how it's all engineered, which is really neat. I may not have that open for very much longer. I'm going to start moving code to a server and protecting. But for folks that want to check out what I'm doing and maybe get an advantage, that's one thing you could do, which would be really fun. You could actually go look at how I wrote all this code. You can see those conversations happening. But anyways, hopefully that makes sense with the no
Yeah,
shot.
it totally does. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, like how you told that SEO and search engine optimization and all that is constantly changing, right? Even Google does not know how it behaves to something. And what I know is that ChatGPT might even take longer to understand how SEO works. So, like in this case, how do you make sure that the content it generates is best, like following the best practices according to SEO, and is going to rank up? Because explaining it to the AI is going to be much difficult, right?
Yeah, so I've got some really advanced stuff coming our way. It's not in there yet. So one thing I do is I've done a lot of training. I spent a lot of money on courses, and I've talked to a lot of people, and I have a 30-page SEO document. Um, Funny thing enough, if you were to come, I have free tools, by the way. So even I have free sheets I can hand out to people. And one of the free tools I created is a custom GPT. They got these GPT store out. I don't know if you've heard about that. So I have a 30-page document that I've uploaded into OpenAI, and you can ask questions back and forth with my SEO document. And this is a lot of the knowledge and things that people are testing, because Google will tell you not to do something, and when you go to test it, it actually works. So Google's not your friend, and they don't want you to do certain things because you figure it out, right? And so we know certain things that work through networking and conversations, and it's in my document. And what I've done is when I write my code, I make sure that I'm designing my code to do those things, right? So my code has a lot of processes. Like I make sure that certain words are in the places they need to be and in patterns. So if you go look at my code, you might actually learn a lot about SEO, because it's basically automating what I would do anyways in an article. So you have all of Shawn's processes for SEO in the code, right? It's automated doing that. But here's some really cool stuff we're about to do. So you can go to Google's search website, and they have all these articles that tell you what they want. They say, hey, these are all the things we want in an article, and you'll rank better. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy those documents, and we're going to give them to OpenAI. And in the background, as it's writing, it's going to refer to all those documents, and it's going to come out even better. And the other thing we'll do is we'll have a internal scoring system. So it's going to say, this section, I want you to give it a score out of 1 out of 10 and compare it to the documents. And if it fails, you got to rewrite it. So it'll go through, compare itself, and then it'll actually self-improve and try to meet the guidelines that Google's telling us that they want. So that's stuff that's coming up in the near future. We'll actually have a tool where you can look at your entire website. It'll score it. It'll analyze all your pages. It'll give it a score of 1 through 10. And then I'll tell you all the pages you got to go work on because you messed those up bad. And you got to go and you got to work on all those to fix them. And so we'll use the AI and we'll use all the documents from Google themselves to make everything even better. And then one other thing, I downloaded all of Google's patent documents. So these are all the patents and systems that they've had in place for 20 years. And so we're going to go through, analyze the patents, and we're going to try to understand, what's in the patents, what are they saying, and what probably are they doing. And from there, we should have a very high quality article, and we should have a solution that probably not a lot of people have, because we're actually using Google's documents, we're using Google's technology patents, and we're using systems that we know that we've tested. So all of that's getting put into Aahsheet, and we are actually moving to a server. So we're going to have a whole bunch of this on a server. And so if you're a very beginner and you're scared of Google Sheets, I'll give you a nice little website you can go to, and all of that will be there as well.
All right. So like you basically have to teach AI that these are the things that you need to take care of when creating it. So you basically have to teach it the whole SEO thing before it can create anything else for you.
Yeah, it comes back to that no shot, one shot, and few shots. So it does have some SEO knowledge. It's actually really surprising. If you say, give me back, the SEO words for porch, like so I could rank, it actually does a good job giving you back what you need. But it also doesn't fully understand. So you need to have a more complicated prompt. So that's where you get into needing to give examples, like the no shot or the few shots. That's when we start feeding it that documents. And that's when we're giving it like the no shot and the few shot type stuff. We're teaching it. And again, it's like having a conversation with another person. You have to educate them, tell them how to write an article, what's important to Google, and then they can go and write the article. The AI is the same way. It's like working with a friend. That's all it is. You're having a conversation. You have to teach them. Once they know, the good thing about the only difference between your friend and AI is AI just doesn't really get tired. It just keeps going. Your friend needs to go take a nap.
Yeah, all right, got it. Well, I heard a story. I was reading a blog. So it said that there was this lawyer, he was training and he used Chat GPT to make something for his case. And what Chat GPT did for him was it created some hypothetical case studies. And he, without reading it, just sent it to the court, and then the law firm had to remove him. So,
Oh,
like, what do you think should people keep in mind, and what are some disadvantages that come with relying solely on AI and what it has given you without checking it?
yeah. Well, again, if you're doing that no shot and you're not giving it examples, or you're not saying, hey, don't lie to me, like don't make stuff up, it's going to create it's going to make stuff up, because that's what it's really good at. It's trying to give you um, creative. It's trying to be creative is the problem. And you need to really understand that it's basically a really good storyteller, and you need to be really careful. Here's the scary thing about AI. It's really confident in giving you the wrong answer. It's like really confident. It's like, I know this is the wrong answer, but I'm still going to give it to you, and you're going to think it's right. And it just does it, with a lot of confidence. So it can really fool a lot of people. So I think, as maybe the younger generations are probably learning, you can't trust things online anyways, and you can't really trust AI. And that makes it harder for AI to be the source of truth, right? It's just making stuff up. And so there are ways that with AI we can have it have a conversation with itself, like, hey, give me a fact about something in physics, right? Like you're trying to figure out the speed of light, right? Like give me a fact about the speed of light. And then as you get the response back, ask ChatGPT, is this real? Like, are you trustworthy? Are you lying? And it may come back and say, no, actually that's not correct, like this is right. But sometimes it completely is broken, and it gets stuck just telling you the same lie over and over and over again. So I think we're still at a very early stage where the human is still really, truly needed. And you need to, use your intuition and use your logic, and don't let the AI fool you. I think some things you're going to read it, it's obvious it's real. But, and the scary thing is there's scientists that are using AI to create scientific research. How much bad information is going into like those science documents? So it's very scary. I think they're going to need to figure out, can they review the AI content and make sure there's some fact checking. So there may be part of the advancement of AI is there may be a fact checking system that uses AI, but it actually does fact checking. And we try to get some sort of, answers that are better. So again, with what we have right now today, there are processes people have learned where you have that conversation back and forth with AI, but that can fail. So you still have to go back to the human and say, okay, is this real? And then, someone's gonna have to go and research it.
Yeah, all right, got it. Although, like now that AI is very famous, I see a lot of videos and blogs about how you can start a business with AI and all that. But although some of them work, some of them might not work. You have a great knowledge about AI. You have a whole business setup based on AI. So, what do you think are some good business opportunities that can leverage the power of AI?
Oh gosh, I mean, it's kind of endless. And it can get really creative too. Like you have now art images that are generated. So you could generate images for t-shirt designs, and maybe you just give ideas for t-shirts and print on demand. You still need to work with artists to get the right design, but you could just have a whole system that just comes up with designs, or a company that you just generate ideas and concepts for people and you teach them how to do it. Like maybe you have an online course that teaches people how to use AI art to create ideas for different things, right? Like maybe product development, or maybe like I said, clothing design, print on demand. If you go to print on demand, some of these like Printify, they've got, probably 500 products you can print on. So you could have an entire category of people just trying to figure out with AI what to print. So you have the kind of the art space. You also have the handicap space, like people that truly need help that maybe can't hear, they have a hard time seeing, they're disabled, right? There are definitely AI solutions that you could probably get government funding, and OpenAI has actually funded many projects that are building handicap applications and tools for those that I think are hearing impaired. I think they're developing tools for people that have disabilities. I think that's a really neat thing that could truly help a lot of people. I think as far as like us all trying to do businesses, like a lot of people are probably running straight to trying to generate content, right? Like, I'm going to create content because now it does really good English. And I think that does help out a lot of people. But you have people like me building tools that can replace 25 people. And that's kind of scary, right? And I don't think I'm anyone special per se. I think there's a lot of people building these content tools. So I don't think writing is the best use of your time. I think learning automation, I think where we win, I think the secret where we all win in whatever business you're going to create, and I think the business that most people should jump into if they're new is learn automation and how to use AI with automation, not just AI, but automation. Because remember, my background is integrations, like how I take systems and send data back and forth between these websites. So if you know how to do that, and you can put AI on top of that, you can do a lot of really neat and powerful things. And it's all about figuring out where AI can fit into little tiny places within those automations. So you could become a marketing expert and learn how to do different automations, right? And I think one example is probably getting overrun by like chat bots. A lot of people are having these little chat things come up, and they have this AI within the chat bot. I think everyone's trying to do it. So that's just one example, but there may be other examples that, and that's for the tech people out there that know how to code. And but I don't think learning code is that difficult now. Like, you can go to ChatGPT and you can ask it, teach me, you are a teacher, step by step, teach me how to write JavaScript or how to write C# or how to write whatever it is you want to write. Like, it can be your teacher, right? And then once you learn how to do some of these applications, automations, you could actually build apps and sell them to people. Or here's an easy thing to do is try to find local businesses and just teach them how to use AI to figure out things they're having problems with, right? Like, you could even teach like the staff how to use AI to make better emails or communicate better, right? So you could say, I'm an AI expert. I just help small businesses, even in your own town. And you could go store to store and try to teach people maybe how they can use ChatGPT that don't know about it. Because surprisingly, there's a lot of people that don't know about ChatGPT. And there's ways that maybe they could just, if they start asking questions, they could help improve. But yeah, as far as businesses go, startup, like you can write a book with it. So if you have ideas and you want to generate books, I think AI could actually help you speed that up, and you can actually write a book in your life, which would be great because everyone would love to write a book. So you could become an author, you could work in art, you could build tools for people that maybe have handicaps. You can help do integrations, or you can help optimize business processes. Yeah, it's kind of endless. I mean, right now it's just figuring out where, with entrepreneurship and business in general, you always want to find a problem, and you just need to ask yourself, can I fix that with AI, and in what way? For example, there's eyeglasses coming out with the AIs inside the pair of glasses. So, if you don't have a lot of money and you're just starting out, probably some of the best ways that you could get started just to make some money is, you could try to go online and write these like Pinterest would be a good place. You go to Pinterest and you could write different like diet books and health books and start running ads even in Pinterest and sell like sets of little tiny books, like 10,000 word books, and you can run ads and sell them on there all day long, and you just host those downloadable files on a website. So what you can do is start creating content, like use different tools like Canva, and generate some ebooks in PDFs and host them on. There's some different websites you can use, but Gumroad is one of them, and you can start selling. As long as you understand how to run ads, you have a little bit of money. That is not too bad. Or so, anyways, I think it's kind of challenging to figure out. I need to know the person and their skills. You kind of need to make a list of the things that and then try to figure out where you'd be happy at with trying to solve some things. And then take AI and look at AI, like, through the lens of your glasses. Can you see using AI to fix a thing from some skills that you have? Can you apply that in business? So a lot of times, it's hard to say that everyone should go do this particular business because a lot of people may not be happy with that. So I need to look at the person and figure out, what do you want to do? So one free thing you can do, generally free, is you can get a website and you can do affiliate marketing. So you can start writing articles. You can optimize them for SEO. There's a lot of YouTube videos and websites that show you how to do SEO. So you can learn the basics, build yourself a website, and then go find products to sell from other companies. And you're basically taking links, putting them on your website, generating traffic, and you're trying to get those people to click that link to go and purchase. So you just need to learn how to structure the page, how to get people to click on the link, and you can start making money just through building websites. So that's another quick and easy way to do it. You can also host those same ebooks that I was talking about on your own website, sell those. Courses is a pretty easy thing to do. So you could basically use AI to build the scripts and build the course for you, and you can have it teach you everything you need to know for your course. Shoot some videos where you read the script from OpenAI, and you basically you can probably build a course a week with AI or faster. You just record yourself, go find a website to host it, and then start inviting people. And it could really be about anything. Like you could find a niche where people are struggling and they're all trying to figure out how to learn something, and then create a course and then go teach them how to do it. You'll be surprised at the different things you can teach people through education. Like there's literally someone, all they do, and they make really good money. I think they do about $100,000 a week. And all they do is they teach how to use Excel spreadsheet, and they teach how to use functions and how to do it for corporations. And I think the girl was probably like 22 years old, and now she's making $100K a week. And she just went on TikTok and was just going on and teaching people and did a really good job. She made it look really good, but she didn't even use AI. She's just teaching how to use software. So you could have, you could use AI to basically build courses and help you teach, and then also use AI to help you build social media. So you could go in, get on TikTok, get on YouTube, or wherever you need to be, and start having conversations, and then sell your courses, even organically. You don't need money to do a lot of that stuff. You may need money to host on a website, but you could actually just start a group, have live sessions, and then you could have people pay you right through maybe a tool like Gumroad or PayPal directly, but probably Gumroad, you could sell a course. So there's all ways you can start for free and start using AI. So a lot of ideas. I think it depends on the person, but with technology and online coaching, that may be a really easy way for people to start.
Yeah, all right, got it. So, like, what I have heard from you solely based on your story, it is very inspiring. And I think a lot of new entrepreneurs, a lot of new people interested in AI might be listening to this too, right? So, what are some tips that you would give to them if they want to develop their own AI software like you did?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is market research. You need to go online and see what everyone else is doing. And you need to figure out how you're going to be different. Like, you don't want to just make something like everyone else. You got to be different and unique, and you need to stand out. So we came up with a really silly name called Aahsheet, which sounds like, here in the United States we say "aw shit." So it's memorable, right? It's people are going to remember the name Aahsheet, and it's a joke, right? That's why you remember it. And also, there's not a lot of people building into a Google Sheet. And the nice thing about the Google Sheet is that it's a free server, right? We talked about how there's a server connected to your Gmail. So I have a little bit of, I am giving away some of my code right now, but if you look at all the other companies, they're on web servers, and they have development teams, and they have admins, and they've got executive teams and owners and CEOs and all these people in place, and they are making good money, but they also are passing all that expense onto you, and you're going to have to pay for all those people to build things for you. So they have managed to increase the cost of AI by a lot. Like, for an AI article, for some companies, they want anywhere from $5 all the way to $30. Like Surfer SEO, I think they're wanting $30 an article. Starting to come down, I noticed. But there's other companies that wanted $50 for an AI article, and my Google Sheet is doing it for 9 cents. So that is a significant increase, right? So with the Google Sheet, again, you put your key in there and you're able to have a conversation, and for 9 pennies, USD, 9 cents, you're able to create an article. If you go with another company in the United States, they want $5, $15, $30 every article. So imagine trying to do 100 articles. With Surfer, you would spend $2,500, $2,500. With me, you would spend 10. Or no, not even that. I think I spent $8.65 for 100 articles, and they all perform pretty well. So the reason I'm saying all this is that when you go to build something, you really want to look at what's everyone else doing. And I know I just talked about price, and part of my advantage is price. Like, no one is going to sell articles for that cheap. They just can't. It doesn't make sense. But some people want a server, and they trust servers. They don't trust what's a Google Sheet. They're like, they don't think Google Sheet should do what it does. They're skeptical. So again, you got to, that's a problem I have to face. So you have to understand that if you're going to build something creative like I did, is there a barrier for people to even try it, right? They may not trust you. And then also, don't just build what everyone else is building. Innovate. Try to come up with a solution. Like, for example, if everyone's sending a question, or say, hey, write me an article about a cat, and they just send the one prompt, and then they come back with it, just AI brings back a cat, and that it's bad, the article is not good. Try to think through and spend some time trying to improve it, right? And it's all about improving those systems that are out there, but also creative ideas. So, like, you're going to need to really do some market research and understand, what's going to make you unique, what's going to make you memorable, and what's going to make people come back to you and need you. And it could be that they're saving money with you. It could be that your quality, like, you thought through the quality and it's just much, much better. Try to, or is it just, it's fun? Like, you made a game, like you have an AI, like maybe like, I don't know if you remember growing up, they had those adventure stories where you could choose your own adventure. Like, at the end of the chapter, you could pick to go down this tunnel, or you could pick to go on this airplane, right? Maybe you come up with an app that literally is a child's story where it does that creative adventures, and the AI just creates these crazy stories online. So it's all about you thinking through, like, what are the cool things that you could do that could make money? Because you can make money in a bunch of different ways. It doesn't just have to be about business, like, type processes. It could just be fun, like a children's book. an AI interactive children's book. Like that's different than trying to solve business needs. But a big place to go and look at business needs is e-commerce. Like if people want to build tools and bring in AI, just go and figure out where people are really struggling and try to help them solve that one little thing. And you can create a whole app on Shopify and just to solve that one thing. And here's the great thing is you can just ask ChatGPT how to develop and code the thing you want to code, and it will do it for you. You don't need to be a programmer these days. Like I have a degree, a college degree. I paid money for it. I worked for a big company, IBM, yet this AI is now making code that I probably would have spent days writing. I can get it in probably like literally 2 minutes. Like it's crazy. Like things that would take me hours to figure out and go research online, it's like doing it like that. So don't be afraid of trying to write applications or software. Go out and do it and use AI. I think now is the time.
Yeah, all right. So, like, one final thing that I would like to ask is, where do you see AI in the next 5, 10 years, and what new technologies can come in?
Well, I think AI will take over the world. Well, it'll be our overlords. No, I'm just kidding. Um, it'll be our master. No, I don't think that at all. I I don't know. Like I think when we think of AI right now, everyone's thinking of open AI and they're thinking about these language models and they're thinking about images, they're thinking about videos, and they're thinking about this words, right? And I think that's where people are thinking AI's been around a long time. Like AI's been around, I think 70 years in general. Like it's been developed a long, long time. Like Netflix has used AI for probably, I want to say, a decade. Like AI has been around. And so really AI is just helping us automate our attention, right? It's helping us kind of scan the environment and helping us stay focused. And it's helping us make sure we're doing a good job at our tasks. And I think what's going to happen is that it's just going to be the ultimate helper. Like it'll help you out in everything you do. And it's not necessarily like it will replace people because we're going to automate a lot of things. But then when you go to do whatever other job you need to do, you're going to have assistance from the AI to help you out. And you're not going to feel as maybe stressed out about your job because AI can just help you, right? Like when you're tired, you don't have to feel stressed because you got to keep working. You just lean on the AI, have it help you get through that task, and it just makes things a little bit easier for you. You don't feel like you're so frustrated, right? It can just get you through the problem. So I think what's going to happen in the world is we're generally just going to get more help because humanity wants basically two big things for each other, right? We want to all be connected, right? We want to, like this right now, us having this conversation across the world. I don't know what the delay is, me speaking, but you're probably, it sounds like you're hearing me pretty quick, right? And so
Yeah.
we love this because you and I get to have a connection. I've never met you, but I think it's just amazing to be able to see you and have this conversation with you from the other side of the world. And to me, that's a gift that we can do that for each other as humanity. And so we all mentally want to have this hive type mind where we're all connected, right? So that's where technology has come to right now. And then we want to make it easier on our brothers and sisters and all of us, right? We want to make our lives easier, and we probably want to all make some money, or if we don't make money, we just want our lives to be easier. And I think AI is going to do that for all of us. AI will be in everything. Like it could be in this headset and it just helps to listen to the sound and it's going to make it clearer for me. And that's AI, right? That's AI just helping to adjust it quickly. And, like, let's say you make a big pop noise in my headset. It'll it'll grab that and it just won't allow my ear to blow out because it'll protect me. So AI will be in small places and it will be all over the place, and it will just be making your life a little bit better. And I don't think that it's quite as scary maybe as some people think, because AI, what the bad part of AI is the people that will abuse AI. It's people will hurt people. I don't think AI is going to hurt people. I just don't see that. So I think once the world comes together and we use AI to help each other and we all have better quality of lives, like I think a lot of the stress of the economy and stress of not having anything and being, poor and sick, like maybe a lot of that stuff, we can figure it out. So I think AI is really going to help us in general. I think some people are going to be hurt in the short time. Like right now, a lot of people lose their jobs, but they need to quickly learn, find new jobs, and use AI to help them. I think they'll be better off. So that's me being positive and optimistic. I could talk about doom and gloom, but I do think there's some very positive things for everyone. And the great thing is, if you look at what I've done with Aahsheet, is that I'm basically giving you access to the AI for pennies. You don't pay me anymore. You just take what I give you, you go and pay them directly, and you can build and test websites and try to make your life better. And I'm trying to give everyone that comes and works with me the opportunity to make their lives better. And that's all I want. So, and I think that's when I look at Sam Altman, he's the person who is the CEO of OpenAI. He wants the same thing. Like he wants everyone's lives to be better and easier, and he doesn't want people to struggle and work so hard anymore. And so that's his vision, and I'm using his vision with this company to just kind of extend what I've heard him say, and that's what we're doing. So that's a part of the mission. So anyways, hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
totally it is.
yeah, but that's just one man's view. I know there's a lot of people have different views of AI. So that's just high level me thinking positively about what I'm seeing. And I've been in tech a long time, and I've seen technology take people's jobs, but those same people go find other jobs and have great lives.
Yeah, all right. So, like, if possible for you, can you just show us a quick demonstration of our sheet so that everyone can see how it works?
Yeah, we'll do a quick one here. It won't take long. So I think the trick is
You can either present it. There is a button called present. Yeah, you can do
yeah,
that.
I see it. Okay, share and okay. Just give me 1 second. Okay. I'm sharing on this other screen. All right. And you should be able to see.
Yeah. We can see it.
Okay. So the reason I'm coming here is once you jump into our training area, this is what you'll see. This is you'll have one course that hosts everything, right? So when you come in here, these are the links to all the sheets that I've built. So there's ones that do just one piece of content at a time, and then all of these on the right are the bulk building, right? The bulk building, and I call them all BB for bulk building, and then Max just because they go really fast. And that's what we'll demo here today. But there's 4 of them, and they do different things. We have one dedicated for Surfer SEO, one dedicated for Neuron Writer. We have one that will scrape and crawl Google like we talked about, and then one that's just pure AI. I have one that's called Magic Max. You just click once and the whole thing automatically runs from beginning to end. So you can add in one word, click go, and go take a nap, and it'll be done for you in a couple hours. So it automatically builds and pushes content straight to WordPress or Shopify if you want. There's also a host of other things in here for people. Like we have different tools like URL scrapers and we have site map analyzers. We have tools that do like bulk AI images. So if you need to generate 50 AI images for your website, you can do that. So there's quite a bit that's here for you. And then off on the left, there's a training area. So every every sheet has its own little module. So if I click here on Blog Tuner, you'll see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 recordings. So if I click on one of these, it'll load and it'll show a video of me talking. And I'm just training you on how to use the tools. So everything that you would need is in here. It'll teach you how to connect the sheets, how to go get the API key from OpenAI. It's basically like this is the best place you can go to learn how to use what I built. And what I'm told is it takes about 1 hour to learn how to run like the BB Max. Takes about an hour. So it's about a half an hour to an hour how to learn each one. I recommend people start here with BB Max. That's what we'll demo here in a moment. But you have all the training here that you need. Again, takes about an hour, and then it's kind of the same thing over and over again after that. So hopefully that makes sense. What do you think? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So here's when you click BB Max, I'm going to take you to my sandbox here. This is what I put together. So as soon as you open it up, it's going to have my contact information. It's going to have different things that you can connect to. So you can ignore all this, but let's jump right into the demo. So this is when you open it up, this is what the sheet looks like. And when I'm going to refresh this and you'll see what's going to happen. So there's code that loads. So as this refreshes, that server code, that app script starts to load, and then you're going to have little pop-ups. So it says, okay, this model is set, right? GPT 3.5 Turbo. So you're going to click OK. And then the speed is set to regular. So you can actually speed up how fast this thing runs, or you can slow it down. You can also pick different models. So once this loads, you'll pick the sheet BB Max, and this is the sheet we'll use to generate a lot of content. I'll show you how this works in a moment. So the first thing that you'll want to look at here is there's a menu. There's a custom menu at the top. So next to help, you'll see the custom menu appear, and it's Aahsheet app menu. And in here, there's different options, but you'll notice that it says step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. So it's a 6-step process. And so I've labeled that here. If you look across here on row 3, you can see there's step 1, and you can see there's step 2, step 3,
All right.
step 4, step 5, and then the last step, step 6, which is linking to your website. And so it's basically you just follow down the menu, and it's very, very simple. So step 1, you have an empty cell here, and we're just going to add. Are you familiar with the card game Magic the Gathering?
No.
Do you know that card game? Oh, it's like you've heard of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like Pokemon, but it's like wizards and things. So they call it Magic the Gathering. But here's an interesting word I discovered. You ready for this? So there's a word called deck building. And so if I wrote this word deck building, what would you think of? Like if you were going to go and look in Google, what would you expect to see for deck building?
Most probably related to decks and not the card thing. Most
probably. So let's go look real quick. Check this out. We'll go to Google and we'll say deck building. So, okay, so here's some wild things. Check this out. These are ads. Here it says sponsored. So this is deck building, right? So these are like for people building your deck at your house, right? Like here's a Home Depot deck building. This old house.
It's all about houses.
Yeah, all about houses, right? So let's change this up though. Here's the word I wanted to look for. Sorry, deck builder. Right. So check this out. If I change this to deck builder, this is a person that builds a porch or a deck. But watch what happens with this word. So now we still have expert deck design and build, someone professionally building your home. But look at this. Watch what happens. Look at this. Cards, Clash Royale deck builder for ladder clan wars. Like, that is definitely not building anything on a house. MTG deck builder. That's Magic the Gathering. MTG deck builder.
Oh, all right.
So these are all card games all of a sudden. But at the top, this is for building on a home. It doesn't even make any sense, right? So here's the problem. If you're AI, right, and I put this in here, what do you think AI is going to do with this? What do you think they're going to write about? AI is going to probably think you're probably talking about a porch. So here, I'm going to show you what the AI will do, and then I'm going to show you a really cool thing that I invented to help actually make this write about cards. So here, check this out. So to start building, we put this is our article that we want to rank, and I need to create supporting topical articles. I need to create 10 or 20 other articles that are all related to this. And that way Google sees I got 20 articles. They're all about this topic. Then it thinks I'm an authority, right? So this is really important to have a bunch of articles all related. So we put our keyword here, and I say, okay, there's a content generator in C. So here I'm going to say, okay, I want 8 headers, 8 subheaders in the article. And then here I want to have 10 other supporting ideas, right? I want 10 other articles. So I'm on step 1. I'm going to go to the menu. I'm going to go to step 1. And then I'm going to say, okay, create my content ideas. And that's it. So the AI is going to now give me a list of related ideas towards deck builder. So deck builder, deck design ideas, deck building materials, deck building tips, deck building techniques, deck building plans, deck construction costs. Like, those are all things that I would expect.
Related to housing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if I'm going to build a house, like I want to know how much it's going to cost me. Right. So these are all, to me, if I were to go look these in Google, like, they all look good. Like, if I go deck construction costs, let's go look in Google. Right. So yeah, it has, articles about deck construction costs. And I think this looks legit. Like, people would probably use this to go look up things. So anyways, this within an instant, super fast, it gave me all these articles that I could write about, right? So right here, I've got 11 articles I can write. So step 1 is done. So let's say I want to start writing the articles. I would go to step 2 and start to write the articles. But here's the thing. Remember, we talked about like deck builder, right? Let's go back to this. Like, how do I get this to write about Magic the Gathering, right? So check this out. I added this thing called task equals, and you say, now you can write your own little prompts. This is where you give it the context. You teach AI. You say, focus on Magic the Gathering, also known as, we saw it there in Google, MTG. That's it. So I'm going to just optimize this keyword, and now watch what happens when I rerun this. So again, step 1, and I want 10 ideas, and let's go ahead and run step 1 again. So a little bit more to the demo. I just wanted to show you this one little piece. That way, as we're building articles across this entire thing, we're building for the thing we want. So check this out. MTG deck strategies, deck construction guide. That could still be for a deck. Building a competitive MTG deck. Deck building for optimizing your MTG deck. So you can see here, these are definitely more focused on Magic the Gathering, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you would teach the AI. So I have this built in to the AI, and this you can use throughout my entire sheet to optimize everything. So I'm not going to go into a lot of depth and detail on this. I just thought this would be important to show everyone. Now what you can do is you can take this same task here, and so what you can do is take this same task, these words I wrote, and you can put it here in F. And then check this out. Instead of copying and pasting through everything, I have a little shortcut. You come here, you click that, and then it added it for you across everything. So
All right.
everything is now going to have this focus of writing about Magic the Gathering. So I put my little tag and I did it in bulk. I added focus. How's that? Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then so next is I just need to start running step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and just start building. So what I'm going to do, just so runs a little bit faster for us, is I'm going to only do 4 articles so we can see the building process. And then the headers, normally I'd say do 8, but let's just do 2, just so we can go a little bit faster through the demo. Okay, so now we're on to step 2. And step 2 is us just getting the information we need for the SEO article. Remember I told you we need words, we need to know what needs to go in the article. That's what this section's about. So we'll go to step 2. And the very first thing is create blog data. So there's a create and there's a stop here. So if you need to stop it for some reason, you can. But yeah, there's really only one thing. You just run it, create. And once this is done, you can adjust it. You can tinker with it. You can optimize it. Do whatever you want to improve this section before you start running the article writing section. Or if you completely trust this, you can just let it run. But yeah, check this out. This says processing SEO data. And then what's going to happen is the AI is just going to start writing row by row. What it does is it puts everything in waiting. And then I have all these automations running that are trying to find the word waiting. And it's going to turn it to the word running. And then check this out. I'm having 3 ChatGPT conversations all at the same time right now. So those are all with your key. You're having 3. It's like someone typing in ChatGPT. It's like 3 people at the same time typing. And there you go.
It has generated a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a title. You've got your main keyword like deck builder, deck construction, deck design. Now, even your keywords are focused on MTG because it came from these tags, right? And even your terms like deck construction, card game, collectible card game, like all of those words are coming from this focus, this task, right? And so check this out. If you want to, here's all your headers, right? The importance of deck construction impact on MTG gameplay, understanding deck synergy, creating a powerful MTG deck. So these are a list of all of the headers you're going to have in the article, and you can even optimize each section. So under step 2, if you come to the menu and you go to step 2, there's also a task thing here where you can auto apply. So I'm just going to apply the same little focus to all of the headers. You can see here now every header now has that little tag just to give it a little bit more focus. But you can even go a step further and say, mention a specific Magic the Gathering card with the most impact. I just read the word above, right? So I'm just making this up as we're talking. I have no idea. So I used to play Magic the Gathering in like when I was a kid in the 90s. So I have no idea anymore. I forgot all about this stuff. So anyways, I've added this special thing and I'm going to go through now. So step 2, I've gone through, I've reviewed this. It looks good to me. So we're going to go and we're going to start building everything. You can add true here if you want to add, if you want to add bolded words. You have kind of a high level, like we could say right at an 8th grade reading level, because I assume there's probably a lot of kids looking at Magic the Gathering as well. So this is like a global setting. You can have this here or not. I'll remove it and just let it go. So what I am going to do is I'm going to use the nicer AI model because I want my articles to be really have a lot of depth to it. So I'm going to use this Chat GPT-4 beta, and this will give us some really cool output. And so here it's set. And so, okay, now let's go ahead and we're on step 3, right? So we're on step 3 here. Oh, it looks like I accidentally deleted. That's okay. I must have, let's see. Yeah, there we go. It's when I was putting that true and I hit delete on there. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're on step 3. Again, the very top thing, you click it, run it, that's it. So as you can see, when I'm running through the menu, I literally go step 1 and I click the top thing. Step 2, I click the top thing. Step 3, guess what? I click the top thing. So we're just going through, and the thing you have to run for that step, you just click once. And so realistically, you could probably create 100 articles here, maybe in 15 clicks.
All right. And it does all the linking and everything too, right?
Yeah, that's the next section. So, and the really interesting thing is how I've designed this is there's these automations in the background, and as they're running, they're going to get faster and faster and faster. So it might seem a little slow as it starts to write these articles, but more and more automations are generated, and I have about 20 that start to build up, and you'll have basically 20 people writing to ChatGPT nonstop here in a moment. So it's kind of like people have to wait to kind of let this warm up, but it does get faster and faster. So what the code will do is it'll find the first row in waiting, it'll change it to running, and then it writes one section at a time. So you'll see it creates an article section. It adds the number in column J. It'll add a number here and tell you what section it wrote. It keeps track of itself, and it'll just keep writing. So we'll let this go through. It'll take a minute to write these. And I'll show you real quick where all this code is at as this running. So yeah, there you go. There's section 1. And mastering MTG expert deck building secrets requires a holistic approach to deck construction, ensuring that every card selected serves a specific purpose in the elaborate card game of Magic the Gathering. As a collectible card game, MTG offers a vast array of choices that can be overwhelming. Developing a keen understanding of how each card can enhance your tactical advantage is crucial. I mean, I think this is reading pretty good. The articles are all coming out with some HTML on them, so it makes it very, very easy to move it to whatever website you have. You also have the option in step 3. I have convert HTML to Markdown or Markdown to HTML, so you can actually remove all of that HTML if you want. It's no big deal. You can even export all of this stuff into a Google Drive, and you can have all your articles in a Google Doc or in Google Drive as well. So you can move it out of the sheet and automate it, and you can move it into like Word docs. So you can do editing, or Google Docs, I mean. So you can edit with a team. But yeah, real quick, let me show you this. So under extensions, you have the app script code. So if you're not familiar, you've got your menu up here. So you got File, Edit, View, Insert, Format, Delete, Tools. But if you have extensions, and this is where you are extending your Google Sheet, and you have add-ons, but where we want to go is app script. So here, this is where all my code lives. I'll show it to you. So here we go. We got the Aahsheet SEO flows. I have a note. Don't share my sheet. It's just a joke, but I don't want people to share my stuff and steal from me, but I can't stop them. But I would certainly, here's what I would ask is if you take this and you want to make money, come work with me and let's do it together. I think you'll be surprised how much support you would get from me. You don't need to take it from me. We can do this together. So, but here's all the code. And if I scroll down, you'll see there are 8,000 lines of code in this Google Sheet right now. So this took quite a while to put all this together. And then here, right here, this is the thing I wanted to show you, triggers. These are the automations that are running every minute. This is running create blog max. So every 1 minute, it's writing one section of the article at a time. So all of this is running right now. And then also there's a log that's worth looking at. And so right here under executions, these are all the events that are happening. You can click on these. if I click on these, it will show you all the different things that have happened. I have a bunch of, I track what articles are doing. So here, let me show you one. So when I create an article, these are all the things that it's doing to create that article. So it's starting to generate, it's making these AI calls. And you can see starting, complete, starting, complete, starting, complete, starting. So look at, that's that conversation I was telling you about.
All right.
Starting the AI call, ending the AI call, starting the AI call, ending the AI call. So basically, these are all the back and forth conversations that happen to create every section of the article. And so what you're looking at right now, this is just one header section. So if you had 12 sections, you'd have 12 of these back and forth conversations, right? And
All
so
right.
if I go look at, so this is done now. So this first article says done, done. And what will happen is once these all say done, done, then the code will go through and give me all my meta information, which a meta title is what Google uses. You know, that's the title you see in Google, and the description is what you see under that in Google. So we can actually generate these and give these to Google. But yeah, the articles went through what I just showed you, and they had the conversation back and forth. And these are all here and optimized and ready to go to your website. Now, I would recommend coming through and polishing them up. You know, do the human thing. Come in, look at them, make sure they're okay, make sure the facts are correct. Don't just push out garbage. Now, you can if you want. And what you can do is wait to see if Google ranks your content. If they rank it and you see Google likes it, you probably want to start to edit and make sure they're good. Because if that means real people are going to look at your stuff, and you don't want to have bad article, even though Google might like it, you need to make sure it's ready for humans. So you can actually push all this out to your website, go ahead and get it on Google, and then edit later. Or my team, we edit ahead of time and we make sure things are in place.
All right. Got it. So yeah, the demonstration was really good. Basically, just we can see how everything works and all. Thank you so much for the demonstration, and thank you so much for coming over here. Now, basically, just before we end, I would like to ask you some final words of wisdom for everyone who is watching this.
Yeah, I'll just say this. One, thank you for having me on. I know we talked quite a bit, and I tend to maybe say a little too much sometimes. So thank you for bearing with me. Hopefully there was some good words of wisdom for anyone watching. Hopefully it was entertaining. Words of wisdom. My background actually is I was a sea kayak and whitewater kayak instructor for 10 years. So that's how I spent my 20s, is taking people out on the ocean and taking them into rivers like big whitewater and educating people. And I've taken about 10,000 people out into the wilderness and into the ocean. And so what I've learned from that and with tech is that it's very important to focus on the beginner type stuff, like focus on the foundation and really understand the basics and practice them all the time. Like, even though I've been around a while, like I still need to go and learn the basics and keep reminding myself how all those work. And don't lose those. Like, keep practicing your basic things. So you might not know how to develop code, but you can go learn. And even the basics code can take you a long, long ways. So the more you practice trying to create a business, trying to use AI, use these tools in spreadsheets, and use spreadsheets, I love them. We use them in business all the time. So the more you can invest time into spreadsheets in general, I think that you can help out your business, you can help out other businesses, and learn the basics. Like, spend time figuring that out, and you will go a long, long ways. Even with, and it all relates back to me talking about kayaking. The more I focus on the basics of kayaking and how to kayak and how to push a boat through the water the right way, like, it's easier once you learn the right techniques. And so my last point is, find a mentor or find an instructor or find someone that you can learn from. So you can come to our group if you want. I'm in there all the time helping people out. find a group where you can trust some people to really mentor you and show you those basics. And don't try to go for the advanced stuff too fast. Like, try to get your feet under you and try to learn just how to get started, and your mind will take you the rest of the way. And just start having conversations with AI, and it will help you figure out how to make money if that's your goal, or how to help out friends with spreadsheets or AI. So anyways, that's my words of wisdom. Focus on your foundation.
All right. Thank you so much. It was really nice talking to you, especially your story. It goes so far back in kayaking and then AI marketing expert and all. It is really a motivation for me as well, and for all the young people watching. Thank you so much for coming over. Have a
Yeah,
great day
thank you
ahead.
for having me.